What if I told you you could get started in multifamily investing with no money of your own? Hi, I'm Cynthia Trammell, and I am the mother of multifamily, and I want to share with you how I got started with no money of my own. And I have a portfolio that's over $20 million in just small multifamily properties that I've been acquiring for the last 8 years. When I got started, you see, I was a single mom to triplet boys. You can see a picture of them back here. I was in a job, I was a music minister. I'd been doing it for 20 years. I loved my job, but I had a realization that I just wasn't going anywhere. I was living paycheck to paycheck. We had lots of expenses, lots of medical bills. I really didn't know how to get out of the rat race that I was in. Even though I did like my job, I knew it was just becoming a dead end job and there was no more room for growth. So I started trying to figure out, now what do I do? And when you start thinking about building a legacy for your family, for your kids, it's many times not what you leave them, it's what you teach them. And I'm afraid that I was teaching my children how to work really, really hard for somebody else and trade in time for money. So I got bit by the real estate bug and I went and got my education in multifamily real estate through a group, and it was a great experience. And I found a 16 unit property that I went under contract on. And it was the scariest time of my life because I really didn't know what I was doing. I was new at this. Just like if you're trying to break through, there's a lot of fear that gets wrapped up into it because I had not taken the steps to change my identity yet. And that is the most important thing you have to do when you get started is start believing you're a real estate investor. I still thought I was a music director at that point, faking my way into multifamily. But I got this property under contract, and surprisingly, it was only being sold. I went under contract for like $580,000, and I needed about $200,000 to close on this deal. And you might have both said, I need you to raise $1 million. I had no idea how I was going to get it, didn't know where I was even going to start. But my coach and mentor at the time had introduced me to my partner. And I've had this partner for 8 years. He's an amazing man. He lives in California. I'm in Texas. And we ended up meeting and hit it off great. And he wanted to be in real estate. He wanted to do multifamily, but he didn't have the time because he's running a business where I had the time. So we were a great partnership. He said, I'm going to fund this for you. But I knew in that instant, I had to bring some value. If I was going to be a partner on this deal, I had to learn the value that I could bring to the table. And this is the secret to how so many investors get into these deals. Many times they are not using money of their own. They are leveraging other people's money. And what was so funny is because I had some real, what do we want to say, financial trauma. I had money trauma just from the way I was raised. I was raised middle class. And by these terms today, I would have just been raised poor. My family grew up without money. And so when they did make some money, they were saving every dollar that they had to put towards savings or to put towards us, the kids. I grew up with that. You're middle class, stay middle class, get in a job, work for somebody else, don't rock the boat. Why would you ever want to leave a company and be loyal to them at all cost? But times have changed. Companies aren't like that anymore. And I grew up with that. Money doesn't grow on trees. I mean, you all could probably finish these sentence. Money is the root of all evil. I was raised in a Christian home, and we were sort of taught with not so much the words, but with the examples that people with money, well, you know those people. They're the rich folk. They don't hang with people like us. You know, they're greedy where we're humble. No, we were just poor. And I have found over the years that having money doesn't make you greedy. Having money provides you opportunity. So I have had to change a lot of the thinking around money in my own life. So when I was asking investors for money, I felt like the little kid that going, "You don't really want to buy this from me, do you?" I had to change my whole identity, the way I thought about money, so I could go out and ask investors not for money, but to show them the opportunity that I could provide for them. Because investors that do have money, they need a place to park their money. They need a tax advantage strategy to put their money somewhere so they're not paying more in taxes. And I've learned this all along the way. So when I found an investor who was willing to fund my entire property that I was under contract for, it was a miracle. It was answer to prayers. But I learned right then the way we structured that deal and put that deal together, it was amazing. And I brought value to the table. So it wasn't just me having somebody else's money in the deal. I was able to earn my part of the equity through the value that I brought. I was able to oversee the property. I was able to manage those property managers. I was able to take care of the financials and put a business plan together. I found the deal. I closed on the deal. So when you change your identity and bring value to the table, you really are buying into equity on that property. On our second property that we ended up doing together, I did not put any money in that deal either. And we sold that property 2 years into it. And what happened is the value and equity that I had in it, when we sold it, I rolled that over into a new property. And now I brought equity to the table. And on that return, it's infinite. The returns that I'll receive on my $0 that I brought into the deal are infinite. So when people say, "I don't have any money, there's no way I can get into multifamily," I'm here to tell you, yes, you can. And that many investors, this is the way that they are getting into deals, is they are leveraging other people's money. Even in big syndications, the general partners that are signing on the deal or helping run the deal, they're not bringing money of their own because they're raising that money with other investors. They are leveraging other people's money. So this is a great way to get into multifamily. It's how a lot of beginners get into multifamily. Leverage other people's money. So let's get rid of that excuse that says, "I can't get into multifamily because I don't have any money of my own." I'm here to tell you, you don't need it. But I am going to mentor you and teach you. And I want to tell you that I'm going to be in Fort Lauderdale on April 11th doing my Kickstart workshop. This is an all-day event, and it's not just going to be about theory and talking about it. This is going to be real hands-on, peeling the layers back on why you're not achieving the goals that you want and how to get into multifamily. And I'm going to teach you the strategies that I use to have built the portfolio that I have. I can't wait to share it with you. Make sure you register. We're going to put the link down below. And if you're loving what you're learning from my channel, please like and subscribe, share it with others. We're just getting started here. I'm going to teach you the tips and secrets to owning small multifamily, and you're going to find that it has bigger profits than you think. That's why a lot of investors stay clear from these small deals. But that is just not the way it happens. I want to show you that these small deals have great profits, and you don't have to syndicate. So you can just do a joint venture or have a partnership like I do and buy into these properties. And I'm going to teach you how to secrets to make them profitable. So stay with my channel, like and subscribe, and I can't wait to teach you more. Thanks for being here.